I struggle to remain concentrated. This is Felicia asks. I'm just going by the upvoted questions. Okay, so the popular questions first. So Felicia asks, I struggle to remain concentrated in my prayer. My mind always sways to other things during my salah. Do you know how I can stop this from happening? Yeah, well, I suppose the entire Transform My Prayer program, which is in your online portal, and I know a lot of your new sort of participants in this program in recent times, that's all dedicated to try and help with this, right? It's an issue of practice, and it's an issue of practicing saying your statements meaningfully and saying your statements in a way where you feel you're really addressing your Lord. You're really talking to him with everything that you say, and you're addressing, right? That you're mindful of him, conscious of him, you feel his presence before you. Okay. That to me is the number one way of dealing with this issue. It's the number one way of dealing with this issue. It's a little bit like, and I often give this example, and some of you may have heard me give this example, before, but it's a very useful example. Okay, right now I cannot see any of you. Correct? I can't see any of you. I can only imagine you. I can only imagine your presence. Okay, I can only see a camera lens and obviously my own screen, right, or like the laptop screen. That's it, right? But I'm talking to you as if I'm in front of you. I don't think that if we were all literally all 200 and whatever people who are here right now, if you were literally in an auditorium and I was standing at the front and I could literally see you, I don't think I would present much differently to how I'm presenting to you now, right? Meaning, I hope you think anyway, right, that I'm engaged, I'm here, you feel that I'm focused, I'm concentrating on what I'm saying, I'm not like thinking about anything else. Nothing else is really occurring to me just by virtue of the fact that I'm focused on this. And trust me, there's a million and one things that I've got to sort out in my life and I need to do, and to-do list and stresses and strains and kids and this and that and whatnot, right? Like all sorts going on, got a lot going on. But right now I'm here with you, okay? And I'm managing to maintain that concentration for an hour, and so I might do another, session sometimes 1 or 2 hours online, cannot see anybody, right? But I'm managing to maintain my focus and concentration. I don't suddenly just wander off somewhere and just, my mind just goes blank. I'm here, right? I literally just, believe enough that you're there. I don't want to look foolish in front of you, clearly, right? And I believe in what I'm saying, and I want to get something across to you, and I'm trying to treat you respectfully in a way, effectively. That's it. That's literally it. It's literally the same principle when you're standing in Salah. You believe Allah is there. You haven't seen him. You can't see him as such, but you know what it feels like to feel his presence or to be aware of his presence. Okay, you've experienced that in some way, right? So you just believe and imagine that you are addressing him. You believe and you know that he hears you, okay? And you want to say what you say in an expressive and a meaningful way, and that takes some practice, because for most of us it's a language barrier, etc. So that's understood, and that's what we need to work on and practice, right? And I say this, I really emphasize this point. It's so important, so important. Okay, none of us are going to improve our salah if we don't practice certain things that we do in our salah outside of our salah. I'm really emphasizing this point. I think this advice is something I've never had anyone give this advice, right, in my life of hearing like and listening and learning from teachers and scholars and this and that of all sorts over many years. But I believe strongly in this advice. Okay, it's very hard to improve your prayer. I would say almost impossible, to be honest, to improve your prayer significantly if you do not give time outside of the prayer to sit down, take some aspect of the salah and literally practice it and focus on it and think about it and reflect upon it. Practice saying the words, practice the translation, right? Practice saying it in a meaningful way from your heart, right? And then in your next prayer, you bring that practice into action. This is very important. And if you think about it, it's common sense advice, right? Like hopefully most of what I say is probably just common sense advice, because like anything else in life, you know that there's the main occasion and there's the practice, and you got to practice before the main occasion in order for the main occasion to turn out like the way you want it to turn out. Like you sort of practice your speaking. Like if you're giving a speech in front of people, right, you'll think about it, you might write it, you might practice it, think about what you're going to say, whatever. Yeah, people who are doing a play, for example, in a theater, right, they'll do rehearsals and rehearsal. They'll take this segment, do it over and over again until they get it to a certain point. Then in the main thing, they're doing it in the main thing, yeah, etc. I mean, there's tons of different examples you can give. So this is really, really important. So practice saying the statements outside of your salah. Say Surah Al-Fatiha, alternating the Arabic and the English or whatever language you prefer in translation. Alternate those statements, say them and say them meaningfully. And over time, you'll find that practice outside will really help you in the prayer. And if you pause appropriately within the prayer, take your time as you move between the positions, and think about what you're going to say before you say everything, then say it from your heart, like it will improve over time. It takes time, but it will definitely improve, inshallah.